Hey, Kip, did you want to maybe do the opening for us?
Sure, if you say so.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Hello, and welcome to the Cultcast. It's the best 30-minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long.
Were you going to stay and join us?
No, actually, because I'm chatting with hot babes on the internet all day long.
Hello, and welcome to the Cultcast, the best, probably going to be more than 30-minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. I'm your host, Erfon Elijah. Joining me today, Buster, the Luster, Hein. Buster.
Hey, how's it going?
How's it going? Leah Laporte calls our next guest Leander KaHaney, which is close.
No, it's not.
Notice that he calls you that, Leander.
Everyone calls me that.
Really? Is that a common way to say your name?
Yeah, everyone. That's it. That's the default way they say it. They never say it right.
It's supposed to be KaHaney.
Yeah.
Hey, Gav? That's right.
Right. And no one
What about
gets it
KaHaney?
KaHaney's another popular one.
Yeah, some people say that.
For the people that can't read. And since his name really doesn't rhyme with anything, I'm just going to say Alex Heath is here.
It rhymes with Queefus, Yeezus.
Wait, what?
Oh my God.
Some of my friends call me Queefus, yeah.
That sounds like a really terrible name for like a wizard.
Yeah.
Dumbledore's best friend, Queefus.
Dumbledore's best friend.
His childhood
Let's see
lover.
here. We're already at 3 minutes, and this show has officially gone off the rails. It only took 3 minutes this time. Oh gosh. Well, believe it or not, I know I say this often, but this time I really mean it. We have a great show for you guys this week. Let me tell you some of the stuff we're going to be talking about. So there's been an interesting development in the new Star Wars movie that Alex didn't think was so interesting, but I do. So we're going to be talking about that. And also, I'm really curious to hear what Buster thinks about the Apple Watch. So you all know probably that we've all been kind of lukewarm on the Apple Watch. And Buster, you recently had a change of heart, yeah?
Yeah, totally.
You seem like you're pretty upbeat about it now.
I'm in the positive column about it.
Okay. So before you weren't even planning on buying one.
Yeah, totally.
And so we'll be talking about what caused Buster to fall in love with the Apple Watch, as you can clearly hear. And also, stay tuned to the end. We're going to be doing an all-new under review where we talk about some of the stuff that we're reviewing and what we love / hate about those things. Usually it's love. And I got to say, I actually have a really good one this week. So stay tuned for the end, till the end for that. One quick announcement. If you guys listened last show, you probably heard me say I'm doing a live hangout Sunday, the 25th at 1 p.m. Pacific time, by popular request to answer any of your podcasting questions. So I'll be talking about the hardware I use, the software I use, the process of putting the show together, and I'll answer any questions that you have. That's going to be 1 p.m. Sunday, the 25th. Just go to live.thecultcast.com. And hopefully it won't just be me and like 5 people. So if you guys want to come hang out, talk about some other things, maybe I can pull in, I don't know, Buster, L. KaHaney, somebody else to hang out so we can actually have a good time. But please come join us for that. Buster's like, no, not on Sunday. I want to thank Squarespace for supporting this episode. Squarespace recently launched their all-new version 7 platform, which is fantastic. It's been completely redesigned, has integration with Getty Images, Google Apps. They have new templates, and they have this really immersive, beautiful single-page website called Cover Pages, which I think are fantastic, especially for photographers. Try it out now at squarespace.com and enter the code CULTCAST at checkout. You'll get 10% off any order. I want to thank Squarespace for supporting this episode. I also want to thank Automatic for supporting this episode. Thrilled to have Automatic back with us. Man, what a cool product. So Automatic is your smart driving assistant, and it consists of 2 parts. The Automatic Link, which you plug into your car, and the Automatic app, which is beautifully designed. And once you have the Automatic Link plugged in, you are able to unlock a plethora of information that your car tracks, but you otherwise would never be able to see. So here's how it works. You plug the Automatic Link into your car's data port. It starts tracking all this data via the app on your iPhone that your car tracks, but you never actually get access to. So it allows you to do a bunch of really cool stuff. So first and foremost, the Automatic actually makes sounds when you accelerate too fast, when you brake too quickly. So it will help you change your driving behavior so that you can actually conserve gas. And that's kind of the main purpose purpose of automatic is when you drive, not like a Leander KaHaney, you can actually conserve the gas that you have in your tank and not burn through it in one afternoon. So it has those audio cues to help you, kind of control your behavior. But I think really cool and more importantly is it has this timeline feature on the app where you can actually see all the different trips that you've taken. You can see a map of where you've gone, and it will show you how much gas you use for that particular trip. And it bases that number on the local gas prices in your area. So it knows where you are and it says, hey, the gas around here is $3.30. This trip costs you, $8 to take. And Leander, you might think this feature is pretty cool. In fact, as remembering myself as a 16-year-old driver and how crazy I was, I think this probably would have been good for my parents to have. So they have this new feature called License Plus, which allows you to set up a driver and a coach. And the driver is like your 16-year-old kid, and the automatic encourages them through the app and giving them medals and stuff to drive, not like a maniac. And it also has those sound effects to help them accelerate and brake, in a responsible way. But also it allows the parents to track where their kids have been and like their miles per gallon and the details about their trip. So if your kid drives like an absolute maniac, you'll actually know. Because as a parent,
I know that already.
you don't even need the automatic to know that.
No,
right, Leander?
I don't.
But for me, I think about how crazy I was when I was 16. Like I used to race my friends and drive like an absolute crazy person. And if I had known that Big Brother was watching me, I probably...
I used to get up in the middle of the night and sneak out the car. I used to push it out of the driveway.
I used to do that too.
And I was always worried that the mileage would get noticed. So because this would give me away straight away.
Yeah, it would absolutely would. And then it can also, that people can use it to see where the car is at any time. So it shows like where the car is parked. So if you want to be Big Brother with your kids, this is definitely a good way.
We could totally have used that at CES in Las Vegas. I mean, we lost the car about 3 times.
Did you really? Yeah. Well, that's another one of the cool features. It always knows where you parked. So,
right.
And one of the other things I wanted to mention, IFFF integration. So automatic integrates with things like your Nest thermostat. So when your car gets home, your heat turns on, or the Philips Hue light, so that when your car comes into the driveway, the lights turn on. There's a lot of really cool integration that they're building into it. So you kind of have your car connected to your home in certain ways. Anyway, I just think it's a really great product. See it in action. Try it out for yourself. Go to automatic.com/cult, CULT. They're normally $100, but you'll get the automatic link for $80. Plus, you'll get free shipping. Plus, you get a 45-day return policy. So if you decide it's not for you, you can return it. I want to thank Automatic for supporting this episode. That's automatic.com/cult. All right, guys. You know what? Let's start with the Star Wars story.
Okay.
Stay on target. We're too close. Stay on target.
So this blog called Cinnamon Blend was talking to George Lucas about his new movie, Strange Magic, which I think is an animated movie. I don't actually know very much
animated
about it.
Sing-along or something like that. Something
like a musical?
Weird. Yeah, he said it was his film for 12-year-old girls.
Okay, that's a very specific genre. But
Sounds good.
I know Alex will see it then. You already have him sold. I know during the interview, they asked about the new Star Wars movies, and they were trying to get him to give up some information. They're like, hey, what are your ideas for the Star Wars movies? And essentially what he said was this: the ones that I sold to Disney, they came up to the decision that they didn't actually want to do those, that they made up their own. So it's not the ones that I originally wrote for the Star Wars, The Force Awakens movie. So essentially what he said is he's had these ideas for the movie, and they have decided to not involve him in the project at all. So they've totally gone their own way on this. And for the first time ever, George Lucas has no involvement in the Star Wars movies, which is cool for him, because I saw that he said that for the first time ever, he gets to go into the theater and not know what's going to happen. And he gets to actually experience Star Wars as all of us have for the first time, because you got to think like he's one of the few people on Earth who didn't get that cool feeling like the first time they saw it in the movie theater. So he doesn't necessarily get how we feel about the movie. But my question to you guys is, does this worry you in any way, the fact that he's going to be not involved with these new movies?
Shouldn't everybody be like, oh, that's like reassuring that he's not involved?
What do you say?
I thought that's how you were going to pitch it to me.
So you're happy that he's not involved?
Well, yeah, of course, because everything is bad that George Lucas does.
Oh, that's not true.
That's not true.
Not
Everything is
everything.
bad. That is everything is bad that George Lucas writes. George Lucas as like a world builder is phenomenal. But like his scripts are terrible. So the fact that he's not writing these scripts is a great thing. Yeah, I mean the fact that he didn't write Empire is why Empire was so great versus New Hope. But yeah, I mean this is a great thing. Like this has already been out that he's not involved with this movie. Are you just saying Erfon like because he's like talking about how he's wanting to be surprised? Like
no. I mean it was out before that he wasn't involved with the actual production, but he was an advisor and a consultant, and Disney bought his ideas for the movie. And I think most people assumed they were going to be consulting him on the story arc and all that kind of thing. And now it's he's not involved.
I thought when they announced it, they made it pretty clear that he was giving up on everything. And that was like part of why they bought it was because it would be a clean break from him.
See, I guess I never interpreted it as a clean break. It's kind of like Bill Gates leaving Microsoft. He's still involved with the company. So, he kind of helps set the direction. But this would be like if Microsoft was like, Bill Gates can't come on campus. If he comes on, call the security guards and get him off the property. That's more like what this is going to be like. But I got to say, I kind of am in agreement. I feel like I have the utmost respect for George Lucas, as I'm sure we all probably do. But I think in the course of creating Star Wars movies, he kind of became a business person as opposed to a guy who creates movies. Because he had like this Lucasfilm empire and he had all these businesses that he's been running very successfully, but he's spending so much time doing all that stuff that I think that it kind of affected his ability to be involved with the actual the writing of these stories. And as we saw from the first Star Wars movies, 1, 2, and 3,
I should have known the Jedi were plotting to take over. Anakin, Chancellor Palpatine is evil. From my point of view, the Jedi are evil.
Right. He's terrible. His dialogue is atrocious. He's the worst script writer in the world. But I mean, you got to give the guy credit for building the universe, though. I mean, I think it's probably the most impressive cinematic. Because it's a purely cinematic universe. Like there were no books that it was based on before. Like you could argue Lord of the Rings looks better or something, but it's based on this rich book history. But I mean, that was purely cinematic, and he created that, and it's spawned all these books and stuff and extended universe stuff. But I mean, you got to give him credit for that.
Oh, I do, absolutely. And you mean it's the best aside from Star Trek? That's what you meant to say, right? And Gene Roddenberry and his creation that also wasn't based on
I guess,
books.
If you're going to want something in space that's more hokey than A New Hope, the only thing possible is probably the original Star Trek.
How dare you, sir? The Next Generation and Jean-Luc Picard raised a generation.
Yeah.
He's like a father figure to us, right, Buster?
Not for me.
Right, Leander?
Right, yeah, right. I haven't actually seen any of them. Although I
haven't seen any of the Star Treks.
Well, not all the way through.
That is that's tragic.
Well, I don't know. Is it really?
Actually, Leander is being the hipster of movies. We know that he doesn't like any movie that's universally celebrated, so that's actually not surprising at all.
Yeah.
I quite like Picard.
You like Jean-Luc Picard?
Yeah. He's. I'm sorry. What's the name of the actor?
Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart. Right. Yeah. Some of his film work's been great, but
some of it.
Yeah, I could never really get into Star Trek.
You kind of like his obscure work, I think.
Yeah. Right. Well, he was great in one of my favorite movies of all time, Excalibur.
There you go.
Love that movie.
I don't think I've seen that movie. What year was it made?
It was made in the 80s. John Borman. It's an absolutely fantastic movie. It's astonishing.
Was he King Arthur?
No, he was one of the Knights of the Round Table. Yeah.
Okay. He's so lordly, isn't he? He could definitely be King Arthur.
Yeah, well, he's young in this, but of course he's bald, right? So he actually looks kind of like he looks now, but he hasn't aged really that very much at all.
He hasn't aged at all, even when you see him now. In fact, I saw Jean-Luc Picard, a.k.a. Patrick Stewart, at Comic-Con 2 years ago. So he was doing pictures. Have you guys ever been to a Comic-Con before?
No.
Not the big one, but I've
They're
been.
Kind of surreal. So I went to the Seattle one, which is kind of a bigger one, and he was there. So we bought our tickets, right? And they're really expensive. You got to spend the money for the photo, and then if you want an autograph, that's an additional fee. So we were each paying like $60 or something. So we go line up. And he has this line that's like 2 hours long to line up and take a picture with them. And they just kind of cattle prod people through, like they're ushering you in, ushering you out. And we got to stand next to him.
Like taking a picture with Santa, right, at the mall.
Exactly, except Santa's happy you're there. Jean-Luc Picard was not happy that we were standing there. He looked like he was so over it. Like we walked in and he looked like a wax figurine from Madame Tussauds. He did not smile, did not make eye contact, anything.
Oh, really?
Oh, no, he was just totally
crazy.
Cold. And my friend was like, Mr. Stewart, would you mind if you put your arm out like this? And he was mimicking this meme that's really popular on the internet. And he goes, no, I won't. And we were like, okay, so let's just take this picture. So actually, I was kind of shocked. I was like, not really sure what to do. So I actually put my arm on him and like got my picture with him like that. But thinking about it afterwards, I'm kind of surprised that he let me do that.
Yeah.
You would have thought
that sounds like a lot of fun. $60 well spent. Have you got the picture?
I do have the picture. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Stick in the show notes.
We should definitely put that in the show notes.
Does he look really thunderously, murderously, like furious?
He looks like a wax figure from Madame Tussauds. Like in fact, people have asked us when we showed them the picture if that's actually him or if we took a picture with a wax figurine. I kid you not.
Well, that's what you did, and now you've invented this story.
He is totally emotionless. I mean, there is just nothing there in his face. And let me just say,
he's Vulcan.
He's Vulcan. Yeah. He has no emotion.
Well, funny, his Instagram feed is actually pretty entertaining, isn't it? He regularly posts up some pretty funny pictures.
He does. Always. Yes. He's very lively. And the funny thing is they put all the pictures out on these tables when you are going to pick your picture up. So you can see everyone else's. You just go grab the one that you're in. And we were looking at some of the ones he was in with other people, and he was laughing and having a great time. And then the one with us, he's just totally stoic, Like, I was like, what did we do to this guy?
Was he obviously your filthy, horrible person?
He must not have liked our odor or something, or my friend really put him off by asking him to do that.
What was the arm thing?
There's this meme where he has his arm up in the air, and it's like, and the caption is always like, "Why the F doesn't like something happen?" So people like the why the F word at the top, and then something that bugs them on the bottom of the meme. And it's really popular on Reddit and stuff. And I don't even know if he's seen it, but he wouldn't do it. He wasn't having it. I'm surprised I wasn't escorted out by security and sprayed with pepper spray. Anyway, should we talk about some Apple news? That might have been the best part of the show. Let's cruise through some Apple stories. So, Alex, I'm going to go to you with this. We had a rumor that the new iPad Pro, the rumored iPad Pro, could have a stylus. Care to elaborate?
Yes, it comes from the venerable Ming-Chi Kuo.
Ming-Chi Kuo, who's often very right.
Yes. Yeah. He's better than most, which is not saying a lot.
Actually, I think that's accurate. Yeah, he is better than most. So what was he saying about the stylus?
He's better than most. He's saying that Apple is going to introduce some kind of optional stylus with its upcoming iPad Pro, whatever big inch iPad. Was it 12-inch iPad, I think?
12.9.
12.9, yeah.
Yeah.
And which, by the way, I'm still not sold on whether that's actually an iPad or if it's that new MacBook, but that's another discussion.
Oh,
but
okay. Put that out there. Okay.
Yeah, just toss that out there. But yeah, he's saying that there'd be some stylus type thing like the Surface Pro Pen to help people interact with the bigger screen and do more fine-tuned things. Like there's the Cosmonaut, and 53 has its stylus, and there's a lot of styluses that have cropped up for iPad already, and there's obviously like a niche market for it, but I don't know.
This is the thing that never really made sense to me.
Its own stylus.
Yeah, like why would Apple create a stylus and he was saying that they wouldn't necessarily ship it with a stylus.
There's
that
so
it
many
would
styluses.
There would be one available, but yeah, there's already so many styluses available. I don't understand why Apple would need to create their own version. Leander, do you have any thoughts on the matter?
Yeah, it's bollocks.
You heard it here first, folks. Bollocks. Leander KaHaney calls the iPad stylus bollocks.
Didn't Steve Jobs? He said that if you see a stylus, they blew it.
How are we going to communicate this? We don't want to carry around a mouse, right? So what are we going to do? Oh, a stylus, right? We're going to use a stylus. No. No. Who wants a stylus?
Right, exactly.
In fact, I'll make sure I find that clip.
Which Steve, he said a ton of stuff that he then immediately did.
Right.
That was crazy. He's like, I will never do video on the iPod. Whatever. That's happened many times. So that doesn't mean anything. But I'm just going to be sick of all the stories coming out if they do a stylus. If they do a stylus, and then everybody's going to be saying, "Oh, Steve Jobs is rolling." I think that was even our headline. Steve Jobs is rolling over in his grave.
Well, he was saying also that people that would buy the iPad Pro would be kind of those people that are prone to creating artwork with the iPad. So in that regard, it might actually make sense they included a stylus. But again, there's so many styluses available already. I don't understand why Apple would need to create their own version. Well, obviously, there's something that they would be doing with it that hasn't been done before, I think.
If there was some deep integration with iOS as a whole and tons of functional buttons and crazy shiz you can do with the stylus
crazy
instead.
Shiz. That's what I'm on board for.
It's gonna be some beautiful aluminum.
It will definitely be made from aluminum
design. I was going to be in the white room going, we designed something that's so tactile, so responsive that when you slide it over the screen, it's like you're one with the device. You can just see them coming up with all that stuff. So
he'll come to tears too. He'll be so passionate about it. All right. Well, moving on. I thought honorable mention. So long to Google Glass, the device that I made fun of for years and never quite understood. Google has shuttered the project and moved the team working on Google Glass under the leadership of Tony Fadell, one of the main guys that worked on the iPod and also the Nest CEO. So, interestingly enough, this could end up turning into another product in the future, maybe. But Google Glass is no more. So, if you have a $1,500 set of Google Glass, I'm sorry. At least you look cool in them.
Well, they said there's a new one.
They said there's a new one coming out?
Yeah, this year, but...
okay, they did say that.
It hasn't, it just hasn't... They've stopped selling it to the public, right? So they're going to continue to develop it as a business.
Okay, so they're not abandoning it completely.
It's basically failed.
And now Microsoft's got the HoloLens, though, too, that's coming out. That's going to kill glass anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think... You think it's going to kill glass?
Well, I think it is a better solution than Google Glass. I think it's close to the same thing, but with HoloLens, it's kind of it's definitely something you would only use at home for entertainment or specifically at the workplace. So it has better functionality than glass.
So can we talk?
I feel like they're different products.
See, I don't feel like they're different products at all. Alex, hey, check your upload download because I think there's something going on with your audio. In fact, I know there is because I can use my ears and hear it. So Microsoft talked today about this HoloLens product that they announced. They've been working on it for between 5 and 7 years, they said. And actually, I thought this looked really cool. So HoloLens to me is kind of what Google Glass was always trying to be, but never quite got to. It is this glass that you can wear over your face, but it's not necessarily a screen that blocks out everything else like, the Oculus Rift does. You can actually see through it. And then it overlays images on top of things that you can see in your real world. And then their big pitch for it was it creates holographic images that you can interact with, in your everyday life. And they use examples like, people creating products in CAD programs or projecting television shows onto walls or those playing Minecraft or those cool Star Wars hologram games that we all wanted to play as kids, when they were on the Millennium Falcon. You'd be able to actually play with those holographic characters. I thought this product looked really amazing. And I immediately wanted to try it. And I read some people who had actually gotten to wear it. In fact, Wired covered it a little bit. And they said it was a very compelling product. I think I would wear these around the house. Buster, did this thing titillate you at all?
I think it's interesting. Microsoft's definitely trying some interesting things. So that's cool. And I think, I don't know, it looks entertaining. So I think it would be really fun to play games with. I don't know if I would want to fix my sink while wearing it, like they showed off in their keynote and stuff like that. But I guess it could
be
kind
of a weird example. That is kind of a weird example.
Well, I mean, what like mechanics? It could be like really helpful for them and stuff while fixing a car or something, you know. So I think there's like some cool uses for it. I think it just looks super dorky on the face, though. So you would never see Apple make something like this.
It does look dorky, yeah, for sure.
Well, again,
it's not something,
is it something you'd want to wear every day and you know use all the time? And it looks like it has some really interesting applications. But when I saw that video, I'm like, oh my god, this is classic vaporware. It totally reminded me of Apple's what was it, Knowledge Navigator video they made in the 80s. Mm-hmm. When it was like the concept of the Newton, and you had this kind of robot assistant that did everything, you know, and it was just like having a personal assistant. And the guy was talking to it; it was absolutely perfect.
Pull up all the new articles I haven't read yet.
Journal articles only?
Mm-hmm, fine.
Your friend Joe Gilbert has published an article about deforestation in the Amazon.
And it wasn't like Siri; it didn't misunderstand, a couple of things and pull up, get everything completely wrong. I mean, it looks great in a video, in a promotional video. But
I agree with you. It looked amazing in the promotional video, and I came away from that video thinking the same thing you did. I'm like, this is actually really cool looking, but this is not the product, right? This is just a promotional video. And it's like when you see a picture of a cheeseburger on like a McDonald's packaging, and then you open it and you're like, wait a second.
Yeah,
these don't look the same. I kind of wonder if it's going to be like that when you actually get to try it.
All the graphics, they looked really cartoony and stuff like that was another thing. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be like a really rich experience because it's a computer like iPhone strapped around your head. And so it's not like a super powered computer yet.
And it looks great in some
This is going to be
for some tasks, but
go ahead.
I saw a beautiful 3D television at CES with no glasses, and you just stand in front of it, and it's like, incredible 3D. Mm-hmm. But it's no way to watch television. Mm-hmm. I don't want to watch a 3D show, a 3D movie. I don't find it a compelling experience. I find it distracting, and I find it takes away from the narrative, the story.
It probably depends on the medium. Yeah, I agree with you, because some things probably wouldn't be appropriate. But I think last episode we talked about the Oculus Rift, and I played a video game that was incredible. It wasn't even that high resolution. And the point of the game was you walk through this crowd of people and you're trying to determine who committed this crime. And you're walking among this city and it's raining and there's people walking past you. And that was incredible. It was immersive. It just made the time fly because you totally lose touch with it. You're standing in this big hall with all these nerds walking around. Like you're pulled into the game in a really incredible way. And for video games, I think it makes a lot of sense. Maybe not for TV.
Yeah.
As Jim.
Well, maybe it may lead to a whole bunch of new experiences. We're not thinking about it the right way. Because why would you want to do something you do now, but with these glasses on? I mean, obviously, it'll probably lead to a whole bunch of new things that no one's ever imagined yet.
Yeah, I think that's kind of Apple's. I think that's kind of Microsoft's point by releasing this now and getting developers on board. Is they're not quite sure what's going to happen with it, but developers will be able to build these experiences. And talking about experiences that may be available in the future but aren't now, what a great segue, Leander. I think you did that on purpose. Let's move on to the Apple Watch. We've all been lukewarm on this thing. I'm going to buy one, but I've said before, the only reason I'm buying one is because I think I need to have one so we can talk about it on the show. And if I weren't on the show, I probably wouldn't get one. But Buster, you said on Cult Mac this week in one of the most popular stories that you were feeling differently about it now, and after going to CES and seeing what's available, that you actually are somewhat, I'm trying to find the right word. I don't want to say excited. More positive.
Yeah. Slightly more positive about the Apple Watch.
More positive than before. So
yeah.
What happened?
Well, I mean, compared to all the other stuff at CES that you're going to put on your wrist, I think the Apple Watch is like the best thing you can put on your wrist, and you're only going to have. You don't want to put like an Apple Watch and a Jawbone up. Mm-hmm. So I think it just has way better features than everything. Because most everybody there, they were selling like dumb pedometers wrapped in like jewelry or really super nerdy looking smartphones or smartwatches. So Apple, I think, is killing it with basically the fashion of it is awesome. Plus, there's Apple Pay on it, and it's like a hub for all of your other wearables too.
Let me ask you about digital touch. So this is that feature that Apple featured on stage. When you touch the watch and then somebody else who's connected to that watch gets a touch on their watch, so it kind of vibrates.
Yeah.
It's kind of sold as this really intimate experience with your friends and loved ones. which I thought was hokey, but you actually, I thought, had a good interpretation of what that could be used for.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I always ignore like text messages throughout the day, like whether it's my girlfriend or my mom or anybody, it does, so I really do think that that's going to be how my girlfriend gets my attention in the future. Like, just double taps on her Apple Watch to me to, say, hey, what's up? Or,
Oh, you mean so it'll be used as like a communication device?
Yeah, I think totally. It's a way better communication device than, you got like, there was a bunch of dumb smart watches that, send like your iPhone, or let you make a call with your phone, but Apple Watches actually has like its own type of communication, which is digital touch. Plus, it's like a two-way walkie-talkie like Dick Tracy. So I think that those are going to be pretty popular uses with it.
So you can actually press the Apple Watch and have a conversation. Is it real time, or is it more like that feature in iMessage where it just sends a track of audio?
Yeah, I think like that, like an iMessage. So you're sending off like an audio message. I think
kind of back and forth.
Yeah. But I think, mostly the big thing about Apple Watch is like where like third parties and developers are going to take it. It's, like the iPhone, Apple has like a small expectation, but I think it's going to be much bigger than what they're thinking. And I think people are going to put it into a lot different uses than we think that it's going to be used for now. Like most people are like, why do I want a smartwatch when I have an iPhone that can tell me the time? And it's not a watch at all anymore,
And that's why it's going to do so much better than this hologram thing. And I know they're totally different products, but it goes to like the strength that Apple has is that they have all these developers that are just itching at they're just itching to develop for this thing. And I've talked to a lot of them, and I've written about it, and they're all excited about it. And there's going to be a lot of cool stuff on the watch, even at launch. And the thing with Microsoft is they could put out a cool conceptual product, but the developers just aren't there, man. I mean, that's why Windows Phone has just sucked. And I mean, they just got Instagram on Windows Phone, and like they just, without that, I mean, without the developers making cool stuff, I don't know how in the world Microsoft is hoping to be relevant in the consumer market, even on like just the phone, everything from phones to tablets to computers. They'll be relevant in the sense that people need computers to do work on, but in terms of having fun and being creative and getting stuff done, that's just not happening on Windows really anymore.
Yeah, they're certainly having a hard time, aren't they? Having developers create compelling applications for Windows Phone. It's just problem.
Yeah, and it's not where the money is either. It's not where people spend money. And that's what the problem with Android as well, and development for Android is that people do not spend money on Android. And
isn't it a lot easier to steal apps on Android too?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you can, like, if you're trying to steal apps on an iPhone, you need to jailbreak first, and you can do it without jailbreaking on Android. So
you can just use...
You just go to the internet and download it from some other site.
Yeah.
Yes, that would make it really hard as an app developer to make money on Android, because people who are savvy probably just steal your content.
Yeah, and people don't buy, like, people don't pay the same, like, when you're buying an iPhone, you're buying a premium product. So it's the people are spending more on the hardware, so they're going to spend more on the software. I mean, it's just the way it works.
Leander, any last comments to add on Apple Watch usefulness?
Yeah, I think, like Buster said, it's going to be a really interesting platform, and I think it's going to become a mainstream platform. I think, like the first version, like a lot of things, I think even Apple doesn't really know what it's got on its hands, and you could see that if you go back and look at the iPhone introduction in 2007, like Jobs, really didn't have a good conception of the full potential, obviously, right? It's into something that's far more pervasive than I think that he even imagined. And I think the same is going to be true with the Apple Watch. Like the first couple of versions, the first maybe 3 models, people will be sort of like, a little bit undecided about whether they need it or not. But I think eventually it's going to become, like with the health and tracking, it's going to become indispensable. And also these new ways of communicating, like Buster suggested. I thought an interesting one was like using pictograms, like drawing pictures and emoticons. Like my daughter sometimes sends me text messages, and it's all emoticons. It's all pictorial.
The entire thing.
Yeah.
That's like a conversation between me and Buster.
Yeah, right. And you can draw these pictures. You can send emoticons using whatever the system was that they put onto it, but also drawing pictures too. And I think that's a really interesting way of moving on beyond like text messaging into this kind of this kind of pictorial realm of messaging with people. I think it opens up some really interesting possibilities.
And then, of course, there's the payment functionality, which, Apple Pay obviously isn't ubiquitous in any way yet, but hopefully eventually it will be. And if you could just pay with something or pay for something with your wrist, that actually is a compelling use case to me.
Absolutely.
I think that's going to be, huge thing for Apple Pay. Because, you just, double click on the watch and you're done. Whereas with Apple Pay on your phone, it's still kind of clunky.
Well, do you guys know how exactly that's going to work? Because, normally you'd have to press your Touch ID sensor. I mean,
You just click the side button twice. You're already authenticated, and I think there's like a biosecurity lock on it.
Yeah, once you take it off.
So it knows who you are.
Once you take it off.
You have to put your passcode in when you first put it on, and then it stays unlocked until you take it off.
Right.
Interesting.
Clever, it's very clever.
So there's no Touch ID with Apple Pay on Apple Watch.
So if I lop off someone's hand, it's still probably not going to work because their heartbeat will probably change dramatically.
Just keep that hand alive for a little while.
I'm going to have to hit him with a mallet or something.
It's kind of genius because everybody was saying, like, why doesn't it have Touch ID? Well, your arm is Touch ID, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
smart.
Great. Now, instead of getting my iPhone stolen, I'm going to have my arm stolen. That's precisely what I need, is my arm lopped off so some guy could use my my debit cards. All righty. Well, hey, let's move on to the last segment.
What a tease.
What a tease. So Leander had to hop off because he has...
He's meeting a guy about a thing.
Yeah, but about a thing, quote unquote. He just kept saying thing, quote unquote. He wouldn't say what it was. But, Leander's a busy man, and he's an important man. He has lunch with incredibly powerful people sometimes.
Dignitaries
of foreign countries. Johnny Ive, Steve Jobs, you name it. Leander's friends with them all. So before we continue, I want to say thank you to Squarespace for supporting this episode. I love Squarespace. And I know you guys think I just say that flippantly, but I don't. I think Squarespace is just a fantastic web host, and there's nothing else like it. If you need to build a website quickly with great design and a website that's going to look good on your iPhone, on your iPad, on a Mac, on a PC, Squarespace is the way to go. Their entire interface to build your web product is drag and drop. It's beautifully designed. It's easy to use. And it's quick to learn, so you'll be up in no time with your website. And if you want to make a change, you won't have to pay a developer to do that for you. If you want to create an e-commerce store, they have that entire functionality built out, and you can just kind of bolt it on to your existing website. And you'll get to do all this on your own. And I think that's kind of the power of Squarespace is you're not going to have to pay someone to help you. You're not going to be tied to a developer who charges, $70 plus an hour. You get to do all this stuff on your own, and you'll be able to have other people help you. In fact, if you go to thecultcast.com, you'll see our beautiful website. We created it on Squarespace. And I don't even update that content myself. In fact, our producer, Alexander Seatbon, does it. And he's able to do everything on the back end. He puts together all the show notes. And he's not a developer. He's not super technical. Sorry, Alex, if you're listening. But he's still able to do it. And without any help from me, he just does it all on his own. So if you have a team of people that you're working with and you need them to help you manage your website, Squarespace is a brilliant way to do that because it's so easy to use that even people who aren't super technical will be able to figure it out. Plus, with the all-new Squarespace 7, you have access to Getty Images, and also they let you have access to Google Apps, which means that you can create your own domain email address. So if you wanted to have buster@bustersbeardkits.com, you could do that via Squarespace. You're not, using like buster@gmail.com, which, kind of looks not super professional. Squarespace is fantastic. Try it out. It's only $8 a month, 24/7 customer service. Squarespace.com, and you will be able to get set up in no time, no credit card required. And if you do like what you see and you like your website, use Cultcast at checkout, and you'll save 10% off any order. That's whether you order a month of service or a year of service. And you'll also get a free domain name if you do a year of service. And also, I just want to say, I don't mention this nearly as often as I probably should, but when you support our sponsors keep supporting us, and that kind of helps us keep everything rolling here. So by you supporting them, they support us. It's kind of a nice circle of trust. The circle of trust makes
it's the circle of
life is way more appropriate. Thank you, Alex. I want to thank Squarespace for supporting this episode. Squarespace.com.
And it moves us all.
I think you should just finish. You should finish the song, Alex.
No, I can't. I'll cry.
Hey, mama. Are we going to go into Lion King next? Are those the actual words?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Those are
I
the
just
words.
make them
They
up.
mean oh crap, it's Simba, look up in Swahili.
You're lying.
Yes.
Everything you say is a lie. Okay, let's move on. Last segment of the show, under review. I've got a doozy, you guys.
Oh, is it like a Ferrari?
I'm reviewing a Ferrari. I hope they let
Lamborghini.
me keep it. So, does anyone want to go first? Alex, why don't you go first? Because you have an app.
No, how about...
I could go first if you want me to go first.
Because I got a piece of hardware, so we'll do an app sandwich. App, hardware, app.
An app sandwich sounds so delicious.
Yeah. Something I want to think about out of. Oh my.
All right, so mine is an app as well. Yeah.
Okay, I guess.
But this is an app. It works for both your Mac and your iPhone. And since Touch ID came out, we've seen like lots of apps for like using Touch ID to unlock your app.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, instead of using Touch ID, it just uses your iPhone kind of like as an NFC tag, or like so that when your iPhone is near your Mac, it's locked, and when you take it away, it's unlocked, which I find this very useful at like coffee shops and stuff like that, because I will take like my iPhone to the bathroom, but not my whole Mac with me, and then it just automatically bloop. Or if my lady is around and I just don't want her to see my internet histories or something. I don't know.
Naturally,
to see my iMessages.
All the
just coyly
nodding in agreement. Yep.
Yeah, drag your iPhone away from the computer, and they can never touch it.
Okay. And does this app have a cost?
Dude, I don't even know that. No, it's free.
Free? Okay. And what did you say the name of it was, Buster?
Near Lock.
Near Lock. And it's free, which is arguably the best price.
Always.
Okay. I'll go next. So you guys know I like to dabble. I'm a dabbler, and I dabble in high fidelity audio. And I have been reviewing this headphone amplifier that I just think is really, really great.
Headphone amplifier?
Yeah.
Really?
It's called the
really,
Marantz.
Neil Diamond?
What's
really?
that? What?
Really, Neil Young?
Yeah, except this is not the Pono player. This is the Marantz HD-DAC1. Marantz is well known in the audio world, and they created this new headphone amplifier that works with your iPhone and also works with your Mac. And so it's really kind of a jack of all trades. You can plug in your iPhone, plug in your Mac, and it will convert your digital audio into a really high quality stream, 192 kilohertz stream, 24-bit audio. It can handle it all. And it makes your audio sound better. But where it really shines is if you connect it to a FLAC file, so like an uncompressed FLAC file. Or I've been trying out... What's that? Flakjacks? What?
I'm just giving...
Alex is just making up sound effects over there that contribute to the story in very powerful ways. So when you have a FLAC file and a good pair of headphones, you will be in audio bliss. There's one of my favorite artists is named Martin Sexton, and people go to his shows and record his live performances and then put them on the internet for free at I think it's archive.org. You can download all sorts of performances. So I downloaded some of those FLAC files and I put them on my Mac. I plugged the Marantz tuner into my Mac and I streamed it via my headphones. And oh my gosh, I've been to probably 10 Martin Sexton concerts and it sounded like I was there. Every little nuance of the room. Oh, he's an American treasure. Are you kidding me? Martin Sexton, you got to go check him out.
Martin Sexton.
He is an American treasure. He's one of the best singer-songwriters, I think, that is alive today.
Are you sure?
Dude, I'm positive.
Does he play the saxophone?
No, but I wish he did.
I wish
No, he plays the guitar.
He has a song called Sugarcoating.
Yeah, don't listen to Sugarcoating. Go listen to Glory Bound. Glory Bound, Martin Sexton, classic Martin Sexton.
Okay.
Anyway, let me finish. So I'm listening to this recording on the Marantz tuner via my headphones, and I just can't believe. It sounds like I close my eyes, I put my chair back, right? I start crying, I'm weeping just tears coming down, man tears falling onto my shirt. It feels like I'm there. I can hear every slide on the fretboard. It's incredible. I've also been using this service called Tidal. Have you guys heard of it?
No.
So Tidal is the Spotify of uncompressed audio.
Wow.
And I've been trying out that. I don't want to talk too much about it because I kind of plan on bringing it up in a future show. But paired with that service, it is a stellar way to get high quality audiophile sound out of your Mac, out of your iPhone. The Marantz makes it a joy to switch between the two, and it's very easy to use. It is $800. So definitely something to keep in mind if you're,
man, I could almost buy a new Walkman for that. Yeah.
Actually, you could almost buy a Sony Walkman.
The Sony Walkman,
that's
Alex, the new one is $1,200.
That's what I know. I said almost.
Yeah. So, and let me put this in perspective though. So $800, obviously a lot of money, but there are amplifiers that cost way more than that, $2,000-$3,000, easy.
Oh, I'm sure.
So $800 is actually quite reasonable. Plus, this isn't just an amplifier; it's a digital audio interface for your iPhone and for your Mac. Sometimes you actually have to get both to make things work. So that's what I've been reviewing, and I absolutely love it. Like, I think it's worth the $800. In fact, if you like high quality audio, I think it's worth it. Alex?
I'll stick with my earpods, man.
Whoa. Okay.
My player,
well, when you're listening to Kanye West, I suppose it doesn't matter. But when you're listening to National Treasure Martin Sexton, it matters.
Don't you dare diss Yeezus, man.
What's your pick?
You're dissing Yeezus.
No, I wasn't. I love Yeezus.
Dissing.
Well,
Yeezus.
I always ask myself, what would Yeezus do?
Okay. My pick is Cultcast for iOS, which was on Android and is now on iOS, and it's basically like AirPlay for everything. Mm-hmm. So you know how AirPlay, you really can, if you're trying to beam something from your phone to your Apple TV or to your TV, you need an Apple TV as an AirPlay receiver. Mm-hmm. Well, Cultcast does some kind of magic where it'll let you beam your photos, video, camera roll, all that, even stuff from like Dropbox, Google Drive, Instagram, etc., directly to not only the Apple TV, but the Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Xbox, PlayStation, some smart TVs, Google Chromecast. So it's basically like no matter what TV you're in front of, you should be able to send what's on your phone or your iPad to the TV.
Sorry, did you say this was audio only or?
No, it's photos, video, music. It's
nice.
Pretty much anything. Yeah, it's really cool, and you can add different things, like you can directly tie in your Instagram account. So if you want to use that within the app or Dropbox or whatever. So it's free to use, and if you want to get rid of the ads and the watermark, I think it's $5 in-app purchase. And
so it's free to download, you mean?
Yeah. So it's basically AirPlay wherever you go. It's really cool. I've used it on our Xbox in the living room, and it works really well.
That is really cool. I have never heard of it. Cultcast. Okay, so free to use, $5 to take the ads off and take the okay. Oftentimes, do you guys pay for to take the ads out of certain applications that you use?
I don't, but I would recommend in this case doing it because it's going to have a watermark if you don't, and the watermark's annoying.
So you don't want that Cultcast watermark on your television?
Right.
With certain apps, I feel like if they have a banner across the bottom and it takes up a lot of space, I can't handle it, man. I hate looking at ads.
Bad. I looked at, it's like Google AdSense, so it's like, get Rogaine for men, 70% off, stuff like that.
Did you order it?
For Buster, yeah.
Thanks, man.
Happy birthday, Buster. He's going to put it on his face, though, so his beard just gets even bigger and richer. Cool. So my pick, the Marantz HD DAC1, my pick. This isn't Fave and Raves. My selection, Buster's was Near Lock, which is free on the App Store, and Alex's was Cultcast free, or $5 download. As always, we'll have links to all this stuff in the show notes, along with everything else that we talk about that's available on thecultcast.com, on cultofmac.com, and also in the very audio file that you are listening to right this moment. We always put all this stuff in the actual show notes so you guys can reference later. All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up there, guys. That's all the Cultcast we have for you guys this week. But hey, come join me on Sunday, the 25th at 1 p.m. And we will do an all strategies, all hardware, all software live hangout where I talk about podcasting, and really hope you guys come join me. That'll be at live.thecultcast.com. This has been the Cultcast, the best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. New episodes of the Cultcast come out every Thursday night. I want to thank everyone for listening, and we'll see you guys
next time.
Perfect timing, dude. Hey, can I come over and use your time machine with you?
My father was done. She wanted to get off the internet, so I was like, okay, it's fine. I'll come back to the Cultcast.
Well, you missed the whole episode, dude.
Although, you know, I can't say I've ever knocked myself unconscious, even when I was really drunk.
Actually, yeah, me either. But when you're on a boat, it's moving up and down, you know, like you're always kind of like shifting around.
Right, true.
It'd be easier to fall over.
Well, my mom, last time we had a party, this was a couple of years ago on our boat in San Francisco, and my mom fell in after a couple of wines.
Did she really?
She couldn't.
That a girl?
Yeah, she couldn't get out of the water, and so we were all waiting at the gate. We're like, "Where the fuck is she?" And so I sent Olin back to go find her, and then of course he didn't come back after about 10 minutes. And so I'm like, "Oh my god!" So I go down there and I go checking him, and then he's holding on to her. He's not strong enough to pull her out of the water. Oh my god! I was so upset about that.
Oh my, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
So you panicked and pulled her out, and she was sopping wet.
Yeah, and she was laughing about it. She was actually pretty funny, but she'd been by that point, she'd been in the water for like good 15, 20 minutes. She couldn't get out, Olin couldn't pull her out.
That's the perfect Grandma KaHaney story.
I guess.